So I wanted to talk about none other than Nationals this year. So with Nationals coming up, I figured it'd be a good time to talk about what you can expect since we know the format we're going to be walking into. So taking into, let's say, week 3, which isn't terrible to look at, we have Anubismon, Blue, Purple, Garurumon, Shine Greymon, Mirage, SOC, Fanglong, Red, Black, Greymon, Leopardmon, Bloom Hydra Quartz, all the good stuff here that's just coming through. This is just kind of just give you a good glimpse at what the meta is going to be looking like, which is not a bad thing to take a look at, just to see how decks are faring. So, you have Anubismon, like I said, 22 tops. So far, it looks like Anubismon might pull ahead this time. Shine Greymon and Mirage are not in a bad spot here. Mirage is just really quick, but I feel like the top 3 contenders are what you're going to see a lot of, especially because of plugins and stuff like that. But taking a look at basically the Anubismon deck, you can kind of see what it's trying to do, right? It has the ability to reduce costs with Anubismon to play Mervamon that'll spit out 3 bodies. So kind of what you're trying to do is prevent this going wide strategy. So that's something you have to take into account. And the next kind of deck that does a going wide strategy is the SOC deck. So if you can prevent them from going wide enough, or if you survive and then clear their board, you can definitely do some major damage. And that's kind of where you want to use, like, if you're playing green, Pumamon becomes like your best friend, or even in yellow. If I remember, there's a Cutemon that says that, or there's some sort of yellow card that says cannot play by effects. So yellow and green have that out here. Psychmon is definitely, if I remember correctly, maybe red got one too, which is very interesting. If I remember correctly, let's take a look at Blast Days here. I think Gatsumon. Oh, yep. Gatsumon. Red actually got one. So it's red, green, yellow that has the can't play effects. And then you have Psychmon here that is going to do what it needs to do. And that makes it so they can't reduce play costs. So that makes it so that even if they use Anubismon, they can't, spit out Mervamon for free. So it'll cost them play value if they can't use it. So that's going to be huge. So you have like Psychmon here preventing stuff. Psychmon, Chikurimon, and Solarmon. All kind of just can't reduce play costs, and red definitely got the double of the better 2, definitely. Then you have like Death X that can help control the board that when it goes wide to force them to kind of keep it small, because it can at least delete the lowest play costs. So that's going to be vital. I think Death X is definitely good in this format since we do have a couple wide range decks. Then even Soul Ride is going to be vital, I think, especially dealing with that. So if you guys are playing in blue, Soul Ride can at least, since they're going to be spitting out bodies that don't have sources, Soul Ride hitting that security could slow them down massively. But I think going at it, Crimson Blaze might be the direction you want to do, because deleting all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less, you have Black Gato, you have Gazes, stuff like that they're going to be trying to spit out. And then you have like, you have their top end, their ultimates aren't higher than 6,000 DP, so you can just clear their board instantaneously. So that's something to take into account as well, because that's going to be vital information. So, Anubis and Mervamon being their highest end with, Shine Greymon Ruin mode, if they're going wide, you might want to be able to chip away their board, especially since this option reduces itself for everything on the field, so by your opponents in play. So that's going to help out too. That kind of keeps the board small, and it'll prevent them from playing something on their next turn. So their Anubismon isn't going to be able to go wide on top of it. They can play big bodies, but that's only going to go so far. So stuff like that. Commandramon kind of goes wide as well. I didn't bring a Commandramon list up, but that's kind of another thing there. Everybody's kind of starting to tact against going wide or playing by free effects. So that's something that really makes it struggled. But a deck that kind of just came back from its grave is going to be the Garurumon deck. The Metal Garurumon deck that kind of just instantly goes back to its old roots and it tries to OTK. Using the Gabumons that don't have a once per turn inheritable. This one at least. This one, no, yeah, this one will draw a discard. The Sunemon draws discards, I think. So they're both not once per turn, so to restand, they're constantly cycling in cards, getting their graveyard filled up for their Gabumon X antibody and Garurumon X antibody, the new blue-purple, to help keep them on board by putting cards at the bottom of your deck that aren't Digitama. That is going to help out. So it has protection skills. So with this deck, you want to be using you're going to have to play more cautiously if this is going to be the deck you're walking into. You're going to have to start probably modifying your decks to have removal, just because of option removal is the only way you stop this deck, because until they get to BT 15, they don't have the evade target. So right now they rely heavily on using their, Garurumon Ace, which can help you out too if you guys are playing blue. Zudomon Ace could help remove the Ace from the stack if they're not prepared for it. But remember, they do have a shot of window of being able to remove your stuff. So just stuff to keep on your back burner in mind, that this deck does fall short if they hit any removal insecurity. So option removal becomes a little more scarier. So Setcom might see some play because it can actually do a lot of damage with a lot of the removal packages here, and we'll see if that kind of comes forwards. But same thing happens with the Deva deck. This is very important to take a look at, is that, the big dog Fanglongmon or whatever, he's very powerful because if you take a look at it, let's take a look at him real quick. So, he has a way for trash when attacking for each all turns. This Digimon isn't affected by effects of your opponent's Digimon. So Digimon's heritable removal is not going to work on him. What you need to do is use option removal. Similar to how you would deal with, Garurumon, you need to have some option removal. So stuff like Hades Force, anything that might deal some damage can really apply some effects on this. Because this deck wants to play a different style. If you have like Soul Ride can prevent this thing from swinging, which is what you kind of want to do, is making sure that it doesn't do the when attacking, being able to, for each of your Digimon with 4 Sovereign traits, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. This thing gets scary pretty quickly because it can remove for free without applying any devastating pressure. I mean, it doesn't have to swing in, it can just keep attacking your opponent's rested Digimon. So that can get really scary pretty quickly. And then we do have Mirage Gauga being another OTK style of play. I definitely see, because it has Zudomon Ace in the list, and with the mental trainings, the deck gets a lot scarier because of the way it can play. There's not many decks that can just play Zudomon Ace very effectively, but this deck definitely plays it very effectively because it can set up and force your opponent in these weird scenarios. Because you don't need the Gaomon line, really. You just use stuff to prevent them from going off. And the fact that the Bokumon definitely gives jamming, which is scary enough, because that means you don't have to apply the pressure of damage and stuff like that. You can just be more of a control strat, and that basically prevents your opponent from going off. So this is definitely one of the decks you're going to definitely see. I think because of the mental trainings, plus Zudomon Ace and the Gomamon, you can just really make this deck very threatening, and I think people will be playing this deck. And then, we do have the Greymon deck. Because it has the good Digimon removal, it kind of deals with being able to raid in, deal damage, being able to redirect and take out threats is huge in this format. But just remember that, you have to start teching in to play around certain decks. These guys, you want to get rid of them pretty quickly, as long as they don't have retail. Same thing here. You just want to get rid of the threats very quickly. These two decks are pretty much scary meta. This deck will be scary meta. Then these guys kind of follow in the tier 2 categories. Scary meta as well, I gotta say. But, you also have Shine Greymon still doing something if they don't nip its wings by EX-05, but we'll have to see. We are getting closer and closer to the ban list system, so we know that's going to happen, and that could easily affect our EX-05. So stuff like that does apply in, you know, but looking at it now, we have the War Greymons, the, you know, being able to pop effects, you know, the get back into the game Greymon definitely can help out, but everything does add up eventually, and I think there's a lot of potential. I think you are taking a look at this, and you kind of see where everything is going. The top 4 are definitely Anubis, Blue, Purple, Garurumon, Mirage, Shine, SOC, definitely Fanglong as well, and then you kind of get to, you know, top 4 is these 3 here, but SOC, Fanglong, Red, Black, Greymon is kind of just where you guys are here. You know, you got Green kind of sneaking up in the back here. You know, Crosshearts are resurging because if you can kill them fast enough, the decks don't have a chance to really go off. You know, Jellymon, we won't see Jellymon because we don't have access to that set until following format. Then, you know, Royal Knights, I don't see really holding up a candle because it's just too slow. You know, you got Setcon, maybe Beelzemon or Bellastarmon. Could definitely see something going on with her because she uses a lot of option removal. Nothing on her yet that I saw, but I could... Oh yeah, she's got 1 top. I mean, anything high option removal might help out in this format, especially if you can control the boards going wide. But that's just me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let me know what decks you plan on bringing to Nats. Maybe it'll be a surprise spice, but guys, I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace!